O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down in the driver's seat and when I rise up through the gears. You discern my thoughts from a car.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope the world is treating you well and that you're doing fine and in the best of spirits and in the best of form. This is Thoughts from a Car, the ramblings of an idiot. Again, events in the world compel me to slap the little phone into the holder on the car dashboard here and to do a very quick thought from my car. Now, what is it that's on the tip of the frontal lobe of my tiny little walnut brain? Well, I'll give you a clue. I'm going to talk about the artist formerly known as Prince. Now, not the rock guitarist who died a number of years ago, but the former member of the royal family who was may possibly be residing at his brother's pleasure at some time in the future. It is, of course, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the former Prince Andrew of the royal family in the UK, was arrested. Actually, as I'm filming, it was a couple of days ago, or a day ago even, and he was at a police station to answer some preliminary questions about this is not to do with the Epstein files as such, but in the way that most people think of the Epstein files, it's to do with passing on classified information to Epstein and people like him. So, what does it tell you? Well, hopefully it tells you that nobody is above the law. Everybody should be susceptible to the law. I know in reality that's not a thing. I know that money buys you the best of lawyers, and the best of lawyers get you off the hook of many's a thing. But in principle, in theory, nobody should be above the law. And I think a little bit with what's happening with Mountbatten Windsor there is he has discovered that he is not above the law. Now, what comes of it, who knows? Will he face charges? Who knows? But the feeling I get, of course, I don't know him, I've never met him, would never want to particularly meet him or any of the royals, but he comes across as an arrogant, slimy, creepy sort of man who thinks that he can just do whatever he wants to do and treat people however he wants to treat them. And that's not a good way. And the point of being in a society is that you've got to play your part. You've got to be an active part of society. You've got to help out as best you can. You're not going to cause any trouble because that creates problems and all that sort of stuff. And when you have an attitude that says, I can do whatever I want to do, where you have no thought for consequences. And if you're not thinking about consequences, you're not thinking about people, because normally, virtually everything we do that has consequences affects a person. Either people we know or people we don't know. So when you say, I can do whatever I like, what you mean is you don't care about other people. And that's not how society runs. That's not how a society should operate. If we're going to progress as a society, if we're going to get on, we have to learn to play our bit, to do our part, to be an active and constructive and positive member of any society. So whether the artist formerly known as Prince gets that into his head, I I don't know. Or as I'm recording, I think even more recently than the Andrew thing was Peter Mandelson being arrested in the UK. Again, similar thing, classified information, obviously for purposes of money or whatever it was. He's being questioned on that. I think he's got bail. But again, if you think you can do whatever you want to do, there are consequences to it. And I don't mean just in the sense of you could get jail time. I mean that the consequences of what you do can affect other people. And usually it's the lower end of society, and it affects them in the greatest way. So, take it easy, drive carefully, and look after your friends and your neighbours and your family and your loved ones, and look after everybody else in society. Remember that your actions have consequences, and sure, I will see you sometime in the near future. Bye-bye.